Hi, hello everyone. Hope you're all doing okay. It's Tuesday the 12th at 11:04 right here in Melbourne, Australia. You're welcome again to Vikio Show, the Nigeria we want. It is a great show. It is a show that you don't want to miss, especially the topic that we will be talking about today, which is all about the impact or the roles that the movie or art, the art actually is taking or having on the Nigeria that we want. What are they doing? And what they're doing, how is it impacting on us? Negatively, positively, in every way, we will be talking about it today. Really excited to have a guest panelist on today. The person by the name of Elvis Nwachuku, sorry. Elvis Nwachuku, my darling brother, who is the president of the Igbo Association of Victoria in Melbourne. So I'm excited to have him join the panelist. And then Mr. Wale Olaito, who is the coordinator, I'll be bringing him shortly. And then hopefully Mr. Yemi Shodimo will join us, who will be joining his voices with what we'll be talking on today. So, Mr. Wale Olaiton, welcome.
Thank you very much, my dear sister,
How's
Vicky.
your week been?
Yeah, so started very well. My little girl, she turned 7.
Oh,
That
happy
was
birthday.
yesterday, and Eniola, so it was 7th birthday. So
Happy birthday in your life. If you're listening to me, we wish you
she's
happy
uh, she's in,
birthday.
she's in bed, but I will
She's
I will
in
show
bed.
her this video
All
clip
right.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that
Many happy
was
returns to you.
thank you very much. Yeah,
All right. So I'll bring on our guest, Mr.
okay.
Elvis. Yeah. Hello, 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 Mr. Elvis.
Hello.
Hello. Can you hear us? We can't see your face properly. Just
Okay,
do
good.
your camera walk away.
Okay. Any good now?
Um, put it up a
Yeah,
little
it's
bit. We want to see your whole face now. Maybe
Okay.
okay. Okay, I think
perfect.
that looks
Is this
that
is
looks
this my
better.
real face?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So, welcome to the show. I'll bring on Mr. Shodim also. Um, our dear Egbon.
Good afternoon.
Good
Good
afternoon.
afternoon, Egbo.
I was almost having palpitations.
Afternoon.
No. This one, oh, you must be here. This one, now your industry we are talking about.
No,
You must be.
I was battling with this connection.
Hey, yeah. Epele jare. It's usually the case. So, Miss Ivis, where are you? We can't see your. Okay. All right. So, welcome to another show of the Nigeria we want. We all know the Nigeria we want. We've all been talking about the Nigeria we want, and we want to get there. But before we can get there, there are things that we need to look into. We've blamed the government enough. We've blamed the military government enough. We've blamed the whatever government enough. But what am I doing? What are you doing? What are we all doing that is making the Nigeria the way it is currently? A place that we really and we're not enjoying it. So what can we do differently? So those are the things that we do talk about here, and we shed light on some things that people don't actually look at. But there are things that we need to start talking about. We can't keep running away from all those things. So I will hand over to our moderator, Mr. Wale Olaiton, who is going to moderate today's show.
Oh, thank you very much, Vicky. And to our viewers across the globe, you're welcome again to the Nigerian We Want on Vicky O Show. We've got our Egbo in the house, Mr. Yemi Shodimo, all the way from Lagos. You're welcome to the program. And then we have a special guest on the show tonight, Mr. Elvis Onwanshuku. Mr. Onwanshuku is joining us here from Melbourne in Australia. Before we go further, I would just ask Mr. Onwanshuku, just for for our viewers at home to get to know you. Could you just, in 2 minutes or maybe or less, just quickly introduce yourself to our viewers, Mr. Onwanshuku?
Wally, sorry, I lost you for a bit there.
You okay? I was just saying that for the sake of our viewers, could you just quickly introduce yourself to our viewers, before we get into the full conversation?
I'm not sure if I'm the only one who cannot hear you. Is everyone experiencing the same, or is it just me?
I think it's
I
just
can
me.
hear you. I can hear him.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, all right. I
So
can
can
hear
you
you, but
okay,
I
okay.
can't hear Wally. Now,
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Because you need to hear me because I'll be speaking and asking. So I need to establish that contact. Can you hear me now,
Mr.
Mr.
Shodimu, since you can hear him, please, can you just help me amplify?
Well, he will want you to introduce yourself to our people, our viewers. And for starters, which corner of this world are you from? Are you speaking from?
All righty. My name is Elvis Wachuku. I am speaking from Melbourne, Victoria. Incidentally, I happen to be in the same location as Wale and our host Vicky Omifolaji. Um, I've been in Melbourne, I think, tracking five years now, and I'm also deeply involved in the community. Incidentally, I'm also the president of the Igbo Association here in Victoria. So, in a nutshell, this is who I am.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Mashu. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Because I should be able to establish that contact with you. Can you hear me now, Mr. Mashuku?
I think it still can. Can you hear Wally at all? Elvis. Elvis, can you hear Wally?
There's something wrong with my audio. Wale, I may need to go out and come back in. I can't
Yeah,
hear a word.
yeah, that's advisable. Yeah.
Okay,
Log
please
off
do.
Can
and
you
come
hear
back
me?
in. I will
I can hear
accept you.
you. I can hear you. And I can order, I can hear Vicky, I can hear Egbon Yemi.
So you can go out and then come back, Elvis. Elvis? All right. I think we'll
What,
just
what,
keep going. I will.
uh, okay, so we today, as introduced by Vicky, we're going to look at the impact of contemporary Nigerian movies and music on attitudes and values, of our people. And we want to discuss this in the context of national values, if there are any, and also national identity. So that is the
But
way. So,
before we
so
do that, Wally,
yeah,
we there's one part that we need to first of
so
all
our weekly
go.
update.
Yeah,
Okay.
don't let
So,
us forget that.
okay. So we start with our weekly update, and I'll start with Vicky. For the weekly update, please.
All right. A couple of things that I would like to actually talk about. The first one is about the vaccine, the coronavirus vaccine. Um, all, most other countries, I mean, in the Western world, they are getting millions and millions of it for their people. And they've already started taking the vaccine in UK, for instance, in United States. Unfortunately for us in Nigeria, there's only 100,000 that will be sent to Nigeria. And that's people of 208 million. So when we did the calculations, it's like about one in 3,000 people will be able to get it. And guess who are those people that will be able to get it? The rich and their family. 100,000 to 208 million people. And that is one. And on that also, Egboyemi shared something earlier on today or yesterday about the way doctors are now trying to cash in this corona thing. I mean, charging a patient 200,000 naira per visit because due to corona, and all sorts of things that are happening. So this is a profession that we all hold in high esteem. I'm married to one, and it says a lot that when you play with pig, or you surround yourself with pig, what happens? You find yourself rolling in the mud with the pigs. I just want to describe it that way, to create that picture in our minds of how this is really impacting on us. A profession of high esteem, all of a sudden, because now everyone is chasing after them for help, despite their hurt and stuff. It doesn't matter anymore. The Nigerian in them just hmm, push them out there. So corona is one thing, and the way
Okay.
our people are actually behaving as if there's nothing. Just before we came on, I saw a picture of a party in Lagos this last weekend on Saturday, only a few days ago. The place was full to the brim. The place was so full. Downstairs, upstairs was a wedding party, and everybody was there. And it was so full. I mean, you were supposed to have 1.5 to 2 meter in between you and the next person. What was that at a party? Another picture of people throwing money like crazy. I think I shared that with
Oh,
all
yeah,
of
yeah,
you.
I saw that as well.
Throwing parties and all that. And unfortunately, the person that they were celebrating at that party died of coronavirus, which he got from there
Wow, that's
only a
really
week ago.
a week ago.
Only a
That's
week
really,
ago.
yeah.
It's really sad. We're screaming it, we are yelling it, we're doing whatever. Guys, this thing is real. In my little town of Elisha, there were 4 professors that attended the same wedding party. One of them was actually the chairman of the occasion. 4 professors, right? 3 of them, they're already dead from coronavirus complications. One is still in ICU. 4 professors, just like that.
Really,
Just like
really,
that.
really, really,
People are
really.
not listening. They are not protecting themselves. They are going to introduction party and getting introduced to coronavirus. They are going to wedding parties. They are getting introduced to coronavirus, and they just don't care. And this coronavirus, it's not written on anybody's head. You just get it, and
No.
you pass it on and pass it on and pass it on. It's crazy. And unfortunately for us in Nigeria, no one is looking into, okay, what are we gonna do? No one cares. And us, Elvis can't hear us at all. Elvis, I don't know. I really don't know. You need to fix your audio. There's something wrong with your audio. So the second update,
Or
oh,
can he try his mobile phone?
probably.
Maybe he's
I'll
using
send
his
you the message
laptop.
after this.
Yeah,
The
if there's
second,
something wrong with his
yeah,
laptop. Yeah.
the second one was, we talked about this last week, about people coming on social media screaming about
Yeah,
injustice,
okay.
about their husband mistreating them, about this, about that. One happened only yesterday. The woman put it out there that, hey, help me, oh Nigerians. My husband is molesting my 9-month-old baby boy, and he's been doing this to him, he's been doing that to him, and she's reported to the family, nobody cared, and blah blah blah. Help me, or he wants to kill me, or and blah blah blah. Most people will hear that. Most people actually heard that, and they started castigating the man. The news that came afterwards was that the man actually shared some of their private conversations, messages that they had between each other. The woman told him that if you leave me, I'll make your life miserable. So it was a lie that she was telling about this man. And what happens in 2 weeks' time? Somebody really had a genuine case, and people just don't want to be involved. That this is what they do. It's just, so how can you be so demonic? And but that is another trend, something that is treading
It's
now,
good, yeah.
and it's quite sad. We can blame the government. We can look at that kind of behavior. Your husband doesn't want you, or whatever happens between the two of you. Now you dragged the man's name in the mud, and it's there because it's on social media. It will be there forever and ever. That boy, that 9-month-old boy, will grow up and he will
Yeah,
see that.
because I
What
read that. If you remember my comments, I said from my own professional knowledge, I knew she was missing two major things up. She was
exactly?
missing pedophilia. She was
Hmm,
missing that up with an adult gay relationship. And when I read through the way she presented it, I knew something wasn't quite
what's
right
wrong?
the way
Yeah.
it was presented. Okay, let's just get back and confirm from Elvis. Elvis, can you hear us now?
I can hear you now, but I'm
Ah,
trying to.
okay.
I'm trying to log in from my computer, maybe because
Please,
yeah,
please, if you can stay where you are, we can see you. You are
We can
audible. Please,
we can hear
just
you.
stay where you are, and I can see your beautiful face. So just don't bother about your laptop again. Let's just continue. So what we're doing now is, just as part of this program, we do a quick update, weekly update, where panel members share any story or stories that are of significance to them in the last week. So Vicky has just given us that. I'll move to Egmoyemi to share with us his weekly update. And feel free as well, if you have any story or whatever that is very important in the last 7 days, feel free to share with us when I come back to you, Elvis. So Egmoyemi, over to you.
Just a minute. Okay. First and foremost, it's nice to know that people in the other world also battle with the network. It's nice. It's a leveler. It makes me feel good here. But it's nice. Let me take it from where Vicky stopped. It could be frustrating at times when you hear certain stories from certain quarters and you feel touched, and because you have a platform, because you have people who listen to you, you go out there, you want to scream blue murder, you want to ensure justice is done, and before you know it, there's a U-turn, or you find that there are so many loopholes in the story you've heard. That's the case that Vicky has cited. It's unfortunate, very, very unfortunate. And the really bad aspect of it is that those who genuinely need help, those who genuinely need to be listened to, could may not have that desired reaction from people.
Mhm.
Uh, I mean, you had the case of the doctor and his wife, and now this. But there are people who are suffering
Exactly.
silently. There are women who are suffering silently who really should, who are in in bed with the beast, and they are crying for help. But when you hear things like this other one, you want to think twice. And that period may just be that period moment that is required to save a life.
Mm.
I just want to appeal to people out there. Um, Please, let's stop crying wolf. let's stop crying wolf. But it's not just for your sake, for the sake of others. But outside that, I was just stepping out this morning when my little brother told me the police is back on the road. And I was going to clap for that until he gave the rider that they started asking young ones who have particular hairstyle. They've started apprehending young ones who have particular hairstyle, people who carry their laptops and all that. I thought that was part of what triggered the NSAS.
The NSAS,
I sincerely hope they'll be reined in good time before it degenerates again. That's on one side. Still on the police, the IGP is supposed to be retiring. I don't know. I sincerely hope it goes on smoothly. There one school of thought is asking for an extension for his term. Another is saying go now. Well, I'm probably with those who are saying he should go now. Of course, we have the background of the extension of terms for the service chiefs, which tastes sour in the mouth. But outside that, I don't want a situation where the extension of the Inspector General of Police will lead to people escalating crimes all over the place in an attempt to ensure that he's forced out. So I think now that it's time to go, you should just do the Odiboshi, kind of thing. We want to say thank you to him. On the side, we had the case of the copper who is alleged to have killed our boyfriend out there. What led to it? Investigations are still going on, and we hope they will get to the root of it. It's an unfortunate thing, and it also calls for vigilance. It calls for caution on the part of all and sundry. So that one is there, and you want to wonder. And a graduate that has spent so many years, including those off-campus, off-academic years with the strikes and all that, now having to do this. The issue of use of drugs has come into the story. But I guess as it develops, we'll be able to update ourselves on it. But just about to lay that to rest, we had the case of the young lady that's burnt that spread petrol in man's room and set the place on fire. And it was the scream of the man that brought help around, because he's been said to have been badly burnt. But we hope he survives it, so that he'll be able to tell his story. And then finally, Nigeria here, we've been so busy analyzing the US situation. We've been so busy. Unfortunately, we probably should be busy analyzing ours. But we know that what happens in America, one way or the other, has a global impact. So we are still watching the big event on Wednesday. The sad event on Wednesday took place, and one was thinking the issue of a coup was limited to the developing world. But obviously, the developed world has developed their acts to that extent, and we hope 20th will come without any bad event.
Amen. Well, I say amen to that. So I quickly go to thank you, Egbon. I quickly go to Elvis. Any update for us? I know this is your first time on the program, but I want to give it an opportunity as well. Any story of interest you've come across, or something you want to share with us before we move into the today's topic? Oh God.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to Vicky's comments in relation to what the government is doing in Nigeria in relation to providing the vaccine. It's interesting to know
or just to hear tonight, provision is being made for about 100,000 people out of over 200 million people we have in Nigeria. But one thing that really strikes me is the fact that I came across an article, I think it was 2 days ago, where it was stated the government actually made a budget of over 2 trillion naira towards the provision of these vaccines. So the big question is, if you're making provision for that minimal number of people, and you also, as I've just heard tonight, have the doctors charging around 200,000 naira to administer these doses, it begs the question, where is this money really going into? And also lends credence to the fact that a lot of things need to change back home. I know every opportunity that presents itself in Nigeria to actually help make our people better also presents an opportunity for people in positions of authority to enrich themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's shocking.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Elvis. We'll be talking about values and attitudes and the overall implication on Nigeria tonight. So, for the purpose of this conversation, I will
Wale, sorry, Wale, if you permit me, just 1 minute, please. If you
okay,
permit me.
please.
Just a quick write on what Elvis just said and what Vicky said. I'm worried about this plan to spend trillions on vaccine in quotes. I think there is a need for us to examine what we did right during the first wave, if we want to call it that. What are the things that we did right? Because between me and you, we are not particularly doing badly in terms of management of this. Yes, the second wave is said to be deadly and all that. Yes, we are losing quite a number of people. But the story we are not putting out there enough is the rate of recovery. I'll tell you, the rate of recovery here is high. And we don't let's shy away from that. Then what are the things that we are doing? We don't have the vaccines, but what are the things we are doing right now that is right? We are not. Why are we not improving on that? Why? I mean, I am bothered. Because I tell you, from the point of manufacture and the point of delivery, things will disappear here.
Easily.
Things will disappear, and not just disappear. From the point of approval and that of payment, things will get a bit muddled up. Understand? How much do we need to build the required hospitals that are standard that can handle this crisis? How many of such do we have? These are questions we should be asking ourselves. Now we are eager to pump money into the hands of some foreign manufacturers and we are even looking towards China. I will leave this so that we can go to the great topic, but I think it is one thing we should examine when we have the time.
Thanks for that, Igbon. So for the purpose of this, so we are. For the purpose of this conversation, I want to quickly just provide snapshot of what values are and the importance of values and attitude in national development. Values are the principles or standards that we believe are important in life. Everyone has values. Your values say a lot about who you are as a person. Values are like the foundation of the house. The stronger the values are, the more likely it is that you will make good decisions. We can compare values to a compass. They guide our choices and behavior. And fundamentally, we look at the sources where these values, where they come from. We look at family, culture and tradition. We look at friends and associates, TV, books, movies and music, and particularly we'll be focusing on that aspect of movies and music and the impacts on the consciousness of the nation around that values and attitude. More importantly, the essence of this conversation is to be able to tie it up around that national values and also the national identity. Um, in Australia, and I'm sure Elvis has lived in UK before. My sister Vicky has stayed in South Africa and some other countries. Like I would say, in Australia, we have what we call Australian value statement, where every new migrant and every new citizen, you must, in a way, agree to those Australian values and
Values.
statements. They centers around respect, for the freedom and dignity of the individuals, freedom of religion, commitment to the rule of law, parliamentary commitment to parliamentary democracy, and also, interestingly, English language as a national language and as an important unifying element of the Australian society. These are clearly written Australian values. I will be asking the panel what they know about Nigerian values, national values later on, because as I'm here, I'm not really sure whether I've come across anything clearly documented. But my first question will go to Egboyemi because we're talking about movies and his industry. Uh, it has been argued that an artist's duty is to reflect the times. A Nigerian artist accurately reflecting the current situations in Nigeria, in their movies, in music.
Let me give a simple answer.
Okay.
For starters, and it's a three-letter word. Yes. The answer is yes. Art itself imitates life. And I'll tell you, that is what the Nigerian artist is doing. For every movie that you see, for every song that you listen to, it's been inspired by the environment, inspired by the society. There could be bits of embellishment here and there so that a final package will be presentable enough. So the Nigerian artist is reflecting what the society is. The Nigerian artist talks about corruption. The Nigerian artist talks about sex in high places. The Nigerian artist talks about religion, its impact, its place in the society, the didactic content of it, etc., etc. The Nigerian artist talks about it. The Nigerian artist talks about the state of higher education. The Nigerian artist reflects what our economy is. The Nigerian artist talks about people being disenfranchised, talks about suffering of the masses. The Nigerian artist provides solution to these problems, these issues. In the movies, you find it. In our music, you find it. That is not to say that you have artists who do not, who are not focused on anything. That is not to say that we don't have within that context artists who are only interested in making money out of their art. We have those ones. It's just like we have in most other professions. You saw what Vicky cited, something I posted. It was from a friend that felt very passionate about it. It's from a friend that has been following this COVID thing probably from day one, a journalist, an opinion molder. kind of.
Mm.
So that is what the Nigerian artist does. That is his job, which he knows how to do. Just as I say, I'm repeating it. There are some that are not living up to that. But majority are the ones that are reflecting this, that are telling the world out there who we are, what we are.
Okay.
That is
That
it.
will, thank you, Egbon. That will lead me to my next question. We go to Vicky. It's not uncommon to see exaggerated in storylines. You see exaggerated wealth. When you see the houses, the cars, and everything they use. And don't get me wrong, there are a lot of beautiful houses in Nigeria. My friend Elvis is a real estate valuer, so he knows a lot about properties and all that. But you see this in my what I see as creating a kind of alternative kind of realities around people of what is obtainable in real Nigerian situation. I want you to see in these movies and in musical videos. So my question to Vicky is this: our contemporary music and movies, are they not creating this illusion about wealth? And are they not creating it? Are they not to blame for the get rich quick syndrome that you see everywhere? Because most of the lyrics and everything is all about money, wealth, and money, money. You must get it by all means. Are they not to a large extent to be blamed for that level of our psyche and that mentality towards material possessions as a people?
I would say 100% yes to that. Um, the way our brains are structured. I'll go back to when I was younger, right? When I was younger, as a teenage girl, I love to read. I've always been an artist through and through, right? So I love to read, and I used to read a lot of Mills and Boons. Do you still remember those? Yeah.
Yes, I
So
do. Yeah.
romantic, anything romantic. Oh my goodness. I would rather get myself locked up in my room and read again and again. I can read 2, 3 books in a day, right? Rather than cooking and cleaning. I will pretend and lie that I had tummy ache so I can be left alone to do my reading, right? I've always been that kind of a girl. Now, where am I going with that? In those kind of novels, there used to be happily ever after. You know, you meet a young man and then you fall in love and then happy, you feel. So it's ingrained that that is what is expected. That is what I expect in life. When the time comes for me to meet my man, that is exactly what I want. That is exactly what I expect to happen. And that happens with art, theater art, movies, videos, musical videos. People look at those and that is what they expect. That is just the way our brains are structured. And there is, yeah, they exaggerate things, they make it bigger than what it is, and people just take it line and sinker. If that is how they say it. It's impacting especially our younger generations because there's something missing. I mean, it got to a point for me with me reading what I was reading, and someone had to say to me, Vicky, that's not real life. Okay? That's not real life. When you get there, you will understand what I'm talking about. But this is the situation. This is how it goes. But there is that I believe that there's something missing. No one is sitting all these guys down to say, come on, you're dancing Naira Mali. Is that Naira Mali? I'm not sure what they call him. Mali,
Yeah,
Mali,
yes.
whatever
We
Mali.
still talk about
Yeah,
Malia. We talk about that later.
exactly. But that is not life really. So the education bit is missing. So these guys, they get it line and sinker and they just go and that is why you see young people, how can a 19, 18-year-old be going to be kidnapping people to go and use them for rituals? They are getting their information from somewhere, and nobody is sitting them down to say, come on, come to reality. That's not real.
Thank you for that. And by extension, I'm sure many of us that we live in this part of the world, they've compared us with a guy that went to UK or went to US or went to somewhere in Asia and did some, whatever deal for a couple of maybe 2 years, and they've got these big cars and big houses, and they say,
Oh, yeah.
Egbon Wale, what are you guys doing there in Australia? you know. So it's a very, very interesting one. So I'll go to Elvis now. So my question to Elvis is more around that, national identity and national values. And like in the society that we live now, if a politician has heard or done something wrong, you see that outright condemnation. But in our part of the world, without mentioning names, you see a politician has just returned from, money trafficking or what have you, and spend a couple of years or in Europe or, jail. The same person returns to Nigeria and is welcome, while some section of the country is, criticizing him. Another section of the country actually roll out drums and everything to welcome that same person back. So my question to Elvis is this: as a nation, do you think we have a kind of unifying values? I mean, are we as a nation, through our movies, are we promoting, those core values around integrity, honesty, dependability, responsibility? Are we promoting those values enough? Or do you think, based on your own life experience, think that there has been a time we had any unifying values that makes us as Nigerians?
Yes, Wale. I know you raised the issue about whether anyone has come across any values that you could say, yes, these are actually Nigerian values. I would say yes. I've identified a few. One of them will be respect for life, morality, marriage, respect for people's property, good leadership, community spirits, discipline, honesty, humility, accountability, hospitality, hard work, and fear of God. Now, before we got to where we are today, I've always had this conversation with different individuals in different fora. I know, and I'm sure it's the same for most of us here. The big word back in the days we would hear from our parents were, things like, my name is better than any silver or gold you bring into this house. If you do anything to tarnish the image of this family, you'll be in trouble. And we used to hold that very highly. Remember the son of whom you are. And we've come to a point where, these sort of things no longer come to fore. We've got the get rich quick syndrome. And look, this is not related with the fact that our people, as I mentioned in my chat to you guys the last show, our people have been pauperized to the extent that we praise immorality, we accept dishonesty. Corruption has become a norm. It's a tradition. The get rich quick syndrome is all over the place. These days, you actually hear people say to their children, "Look, Chinedu is in Malaysia. He's built a mansion. He's bought this much cars. What are you doing?" This sort of comments come from parents these days, and what does that do to the psyche of that child? He's looking for avenues to make it quickly and to measure up with his mates or someone he knows within that same location where he knew him when they first started, and all of a sudden this person has catapulted to a position where you would have thought was not possible. So yeah, as a nation, we ideally have our core values, but say, with the advent of what's gone on over the years, and the level of poverty that our people have gone through, those values have been greatly eroded and taken to the back burners.
Yeah. Do you see political leadership also partly to blame for that? Like if you see, if the young people, like Yoruba, the concept of omoluabi is a very common thing in Yoruba, which embodies everything you've described. And I'm very, very impressed with all those good values that you've already previously described. Is that the concept of omoluabi? And I'm sure in Igbo land, they will have something similar in terms of that embodiment of a true human being. Um, can we say that political leadership and also maybe leadership in other areas, like in private sector also, have they contributed to that level of what we're talking about? Everyone just want to make it big and as quick as possible without going through, that process. Like Vicky said here on this program some weeks back, people see, for example, where she is today, and they want to really be Vicky just today without taking into account all the years that went into 25 years or more of, trying to build herself and everything. And Elvis, do you think political leadership as well has something to do with where we are, or lack of political leadership in terms of that, the eroded values?
My answer is in the affirmative, Wale. If anything, the political leadership has done a good job of actually getting us to where we are today. I call it a cause and effect scenario. So you don't just look at the problem where we are, what actually led us to where we are today. Again, I'll refer to the days of my father, your father, where you could have someone in position of authority, could be a civil servant who's worked 35 years of his life, and he's going into retirement. It's by the grace of God that he would have owned a house. He probably would have, at best had a 504, which cost a little or nothing at the time. So we're now we're living in a situation at the moment where our political class do not give a hoot about the people they're actually meant to be serving. It's all about personal aggrandizement.
Yeah.
When people go into political leadership, it's for what they can get out of it and not for service to humanity. People just go in there to grab what is meant for, the resources that are meant for the generality of the people. You find one person stashing that money in their pockets, monies that are meant to provide, infrastructure, jobs, put food on people's tables. Our politicians prefer to stash these funds away. I mean, I was having a conversation with a childhood friend of mine who is in the Federal House of Reps the other day. I gave him an instance of how the Victorian government has reacted to this COVID scenario we have at the moment. At the start of COVID, you all are witnesses what the government, did, everything they did to support the people. For employers of labor, what they did was, look, don't sack your workers. We'll be able to fund, their salaries on your behalf. But we also want a scenario where after this period, once this is all over, these guys have a job to return to. Now, that's a government that cares about its people. We also had, in the property industry, for instance, where I work, while I'll tell you something, I've been with the company I work for now the last 5 years. COVID period has been the busiest I have been my entire the entire duration of my employment with this organization. And what's that is the government looked at a scenario where with COVID, there was a threat to the property market. There were projections the property market prices were going to drop about 10%. What did they do? They saw a scenario where about 400,000 people, traders, your plumbers, your electricians, your bricklayers, were at the risk of losing their jobs. Now, government has done a smart thing. What they've done here is they put on the table $25,000 for every person who wants to build an owner-occupied home, and that has engendered a lot of activity in the marketplace now. Rather, we had a slight drop at the start of COVID, but everything is to normal again, and that's what the government should be doing. They've looked after 400,000 people. That money has filtered into different areas of the economy, and we went recession for a very short time, and we're back to normal. But this is what the Nigerian government wouldn't do for you. That $25,000, if he was on the table, in Nigeria, you probably find is ending up in the pockets of those who already have money. Wouldn't trickle down to the masses that are actually meant to benefit from this. So, cut long story short, yes, the government is actually 100% responsible for the moral decadence that we have in our society today, for where our people find themselves, and the suffering we have in the country, which has in turn affected the way our people behave.
Thank you very much, Elvis. Egmoyemi, so there's a question around music again. I'll be putting more of that to you. The godfather of Afrobeats, Abdameda himself, Fela Anikulapo Kuti, reportedly was arrested over 200 times, went to jail many times, and then the legacy left behind. We currently have a few international singers or Afrobeat singers, internationally recognized. Do you think any one of them is Fela's incarnate? Do you think, in terms of that political philosophy and ideas that Fela stood for and went to jail for, do we have any, in your knowledge of that industry, do you think we have anyone closer to what Fela represented as the conscience of the nation?
Before I answer your question, Wally, permit me to vehemently disagree with Vicky. And I'm feeling good about this. Probably for the first time.
Okay.
Vicky, you talked about your experience with Mills and Bones. And at the end of the day, you were told it was a fantasy. You were living, the book transformed you into a world, into an illusory world. Yes. But you didn't use the word exaggeration for that, for Mills and Bones. Which you used for our movies and our music and all that. The fact remains that those movies, the music, are a reflection of the society. Now, listen, if we should take it all the way back, take the music of Chief Hubert Ogunde, for instance. When he sang Onimoto, Onimoto, Onimoto rora sare o, Onimoto rora nikona yen, Onimoto rora gbesele o, Pesojaye Onimoto. He was talking about the recklessness of drivers at that point in time. He knew it was not, he did not create that thing out of nothing. It was influenced by the fact that, we had drivers who were beginning to get reckless. At that time, of course, we probably could count the number of vehicles on the road then, on our roads then. he felt the need to talk about it. So that I should give a caution. Let me also ask you, out there in Australia, when last did you see a Spider-Man jumping from one building to the other? When last did you see those cars taking off the road and flying in the skies? That is art. That is their projection into what they believe could happen in the future or wherever. That is art. We will not hang them for that. Now, back here, I need somebody to show me. Let's make a list of 10 movies and show me one out of those 10 where somebody who has done money ritual and has made so much money does not feel the impact at the end, does not pay for it at the end. To create a scenario in an attempt to teach people what is right and what is wrong. And at the end of it, in the resolution of the conflict and crisis, you reprimand, you drive home the message about the good and the bad of the society. You cited the example of the visual that was posted about money being sprayed and all that. If that came up in our movies, the initial reaction would be, oh, they are glorifying extravagance, they are bastardizing the naira and all that. But in actual fact, what you saw was real life. That was not movie. What you saw would influence a creative mind who puts it out there. And at the end of the day, the repercussion for that will be part of that movie. It won't be a complete story without the didactic end of it. This is what our movies do. Yes, I'm not in bed with some of our music. You cited one or two examples there. Yes, I'm probably I feel a bit uncomfortable with some of the things, but this is because it is when people want to ride on a fad, when people want to ride on what is happening presently, and then you in that attempt, while you're putting that message out, while you are reflecting what is happening out there, you fail to say this is bad because of the commercial consideration. That happens when you have commercial consideration coming ahead of your artistic responsibility to the society. That is what you have. But let me quickly take your question. The answer is none. We don't have. Fela's shoes are too big. Fela, I'm talking about Fela now. Fela's shoes are too big for anybody right now. We're yet to find somebody that will fit into that bill. Fela made a decision a long time about his music, using his music as a tool for knocking leaders that are not doing it right, for exhibiting the state of poverty that the average citizen is subjected to. Hence, you had music like of course, including what happened during the military era. I mean, the atrocities committed by men in uniform against civilians, which included him. Hence, you had Sorrow, Tears and Blood. You had Zombie. You had Kalakuta. It's an endless list of songs that will make you stop, think, and ask, where do we go from here? Of course, these were songs that made leaders uncomfortable. And I keep saying it, we lost that opportunity. We lost that great chance of listening to Fela and doing things right. Not only that, we lost that great chance of moving our art and music to another level. Because if I was to be in power when Fela was alive, he would have been idolized instead of brutalized. Fela would have been our export to the world out there. That is apart from him creating socio-political consciousness within the average Nigerian, the average African. We could have exported Fela to the world. We could have backed Fela up with all the resources that he needed to get the job done. But unfortunately, our leaders were not thinking right. And I don't know whether followership actually did enough to protect that man. Thank you.
Thanks, Egbo. And I think I will give Vicky a right of reply. I've got a question for you, Vicky. But before then, let me know, have you got anything to respond to what Egbo has said, or you want me to move straight to your next question?
Wale, please, can I interject?
Give me a sec, Elvis.
Okay.
Vicky, have you want to respond to Egbo quickly? I can hear you, Vicky.
Thank you, Egbon. Yes, you've educated me. You've brought me from where I thought I was.
Okay.
So thank you.
Okay. So Elvis, your interjection, please. Your beautiful interjection.
Yes, I just wanted to bring something to fore. So Mr. Yemi mentioned, Vicky, who read so many copies of Mills and Boone, those things were fictitious. And I'm also in a situation where I read over 120 copies of James Hadley Chase.
Yes.
Yeah, I read so many. And honestly, even though they were still fictitious, I can tell you right now the positive impact it had on me as a young guy growing up. So what that did for me was it helped me a lot in my vocabulary. That's a positive thing, and we can't take that for granted. Now, in regards to our Nigerian movies and the content and the impact it has, on our youths and the society, I understand and I agree with you the fact that it can start, when it starts, the story is told. In the end, there's a lesson to be learned. I was going through an article today, and what that article said was, in most instances, our youths begin to watch these movies. A lot of the times, they don't get to see the end and to see this repercussion that you mentioned here, the story to be learned from the entire movie. And honestly, let's not take for granted the fact that a lot of our movies affect our young ones negatively, even beyond the shores of Nigeria. I know I made a visit to Ghana one time, and a long time ago, we were having a conversation, and someone made a comment, "Oh, you're going to use me for ritual." Not just there. In Australia here, Victoria, where I live, I'm a member of the Rotary Club of Craigieburn here. I was having an occasion in my house where I invited my members. This couple, they also have a disabled child who, he's physically disabled, but he's got his brain, he can read, he can surf the internet. He's done research on Nigeria, and he knows I'm Nigerian. And what he said to his mom was, "Oh, look, if you go to Elvis's house, I hope he doesn't use you for ritual." This is someone who is here in Australia. So we shouldn't, I know, there are lessons to be learned, and you are giving out a strong message there about what the society is all about, what can happen to you if you indulge in all of these practices. But regardless, people still go, learn from those stories and still go ahead to do the negative stuff. I was watching a program the other day. Wale, by the way, I forgot to mention this. That was one interesting one I came across a few days ago, where a young man somewhere in the southwestern states had gone out to behead about 3 people. This was on live camera. He beheaded 3 people for 20,000 naira. He was selling each of their heads. So I understand. Yep, the intention is to put out these good stories there, but honestly, let's not downplay the fact that this also has a pretty negative influence on some quarters, some individuals.
Wale, sorry. Am I permitted, Wale?
2 minutes, please, so that I'll get back to Vicky. Yeah, you quickly respond, Egbon. Yeah.
No, I'm actually not responding. I'm only saying that the movie artist, the movie producer, cannot be held responsible for the level of ignorance of a particular set of people. I'm sorry, I have to say this. That is one. 2, listen, movies are not the ones causing what we are talking about. What we are talking about has been happening. Nobody has been talking about it. People have been whispering about it. Kidnapping did not start now. It's been going on in whispers. Right? Listen, ritual, whatever, has been on forever. The only way to bring it, to reduce it, if not really eradicate, is to expose. So what we are saying here is that we are afraid of being exposed. The issue of the doctors that you said earlier, if it was in the movies, that's the reaction to what I posted in the group about some doctors capitalizing on the COVID thing. If you put it on a movie, it will be termed as an exaggeration, but it is a reality. Movies did not create this. It is important for us to get this very, very clear. It is not the movies that create it. Movies are exposing this. And I'm curious about the fact that these young ones, when they watch, they do not get to the end to know the message. Maybe when the movie is boring. If it's exciting, you watch till the end credits. But that's probably another topic for another day. I just felt I should throw this in. But I'm going to play devil's advocate here, Wale, which you may bring up later. I'm going to tell you what I think is even worse, that is even dangerous to the development of our minds and our youths, which is worse.
So
let me hold on to that, but I will tell you.
So you hold on to that when we're doing when I go around for the concluding part of the program where you express your thoughts and solutions or what you have the opportunity. I'll go to Vicky now. I recently went through the National Orientation Agency. That is the national body that is responsible for everything we're talking about, values, attitudes, and behavior. And it's a very beautiful website, but you just want to, I picked some few statistics there. They have over 500 staff across the country. They said they have about over 15 engagement platforms. And listen to this, they said they've reached 64% of our citizens, through public enlightenment, sensitization campaigns, and they've been able to raise awareness around positive change attitude and what have you. From what we see going on in Nigeria, from looking at our website, Facebook, WhatsApp pages, and as a communicator yourself, and what do you honestly what do you really think about this very modern level of achievement of this National Orientation Agency? Do you think they are effectively discharging their duties? Because if you look through that website, you would think probably Nigeria is in maybe a different, it's a different society. Do you really think, from your experience, that that national body is actually discharging its constitutional duties?
Nigeria.
If no, the second part of the question, what are your ideas or better ways that you think this can be done?
All right. To start with, in Nigeria, we have signboard bigger than the building. We even before have the building, we have the big signboard on our rental property first before we start looking for offices to rent. That's the way we do things. When you talk about them having a fantastic website that makes noise, that shows that they are doing something, they will pay somebody. One of those young boys that is doing website building and whatever, just build us a website. This is what we want on it. But having it there doesn't equate to actually doing it. So they are showing, they are appearing as if they're telling us this is what we've done, but I don't believe they've done any of those.
And then
I don't believe
64% of the population,
they just they
it's a
just
very, it's
manufacture
a,
they manufactured that number 64%. What have they done? Where, how? To me, just like most things, I don't think they are doing enough. I don't think they've actually done it. It's like me. I have one few websites, and yes, I build them. They're there, but some of the things there, some of them I haven't even gone back to them for a while. I put them there. And it's the same thing here because the way things are right now in our country, it's it shows that they are not doing their job, enough of their job. They're not.
so talking about, you know, uh, change communication and all the issues, as you are aware, around that concept of CBT or CBA, depending on wherever angle you want to look at it from.
Mm,
From your experience and from your professional experience, what do you really think that we need to do as a nation in addressing some of those areas around attitudes and values? Uh, no matter our level of argument or persuasion here, we all agreed that fundamentally many things are really wrong with our
wrong.
attitudes
Yep.
and behaviors and as a society, and whether I want to build blame movies or what to do.
Mm,
What do we really, as we try to do on this program, to try and profile, some practical solutions? What do you think
solution.
we need to do as a nation in that space?
I believe education is always the key, and I'm not talking about book education. I'm not talking about academic. I'm talking about I'm talking about emotional intelligence. I'm talking about catching them young. You know, the level of Egbonyemi and Co for now, I think uh, you know what I mean. But
Àti lọ báyìí.
let's so let's get those young ones and let's educate them. And how do we educate them? Well, I'm not talking about going to teaching them like the 1 + 1 + 2. That's not what I'm talking about. Even here, we do it. Um, I own a not for profit organization called the Life Skills Program for Young People. These are young people who are born here, but of course, they lack life skills.
An
So,
idea.
providing them a platform whereby they can come together as a group and learn about how to become the better version of themselves through teaching them communication skills, through teaching them how to make friends, through teaching them emotional self awareness. All that kind of stuff, they are important. And those are the things that they are not teaching them at school, right? Even here, I do it and I've done it for thousands of young people. I've trained trainers that are doing them right now around the world. Now, when we talk about improving things in Nigeria, for us that are on the other side of about to be 50 or the other side of 50, like Egmoyemi and Co and Elvis, right? Maybe it's a bit too late, but let's go back to the basis. Let's go back to the basis. And when we talk about art and stuff, music, yeah, it can be danceable, it can be, but is it educational? How is it impacting on people? When Mali comes out and start doing the Mali stuff and doing crazy stuff, is that really adding value to those young people? Is it? I remember there was a time, I was early in my early teens. A friend of mine came to greet me, and I saw her off at the gate. We were just talking, and I remember we were talking about Obesere. Remember Obesere now?
Okay,
And
yeah.
there was this song that he sang, and I was singing it, not knowing that my father was in his study, in
Wow.
his office, and he saw me doing the yaka yaka dancing and the
In
singing with my
in the
friend
in the vicarage.
in the vicarage. When I got back in, I got into a very big trouble for it. How dare you? How dare you? But these days, you see all these young, I mean, little kids, they will be doing all this provocative dancing and all that. Who is telling them to stop? There was even a party where mom put them all together, paired them up, boys and girls. I'm talking about 7, 8-year-old kids, and they were doing all this yaka yaka dancing, and it's so sexualized. There should be a point that there should be a point whereby, if parents cannot tell them to stop, who is going to be telling those kids to stop? And when parents are not watching, when what are they going to be doing to take it step further? Yes, art is fantastic, and I love anything to do with art, and I do it, I practice it, but we've got to be careful. That is why I say we go back to the young people, we educate them properly. Not book education. We do that very well. We send 2-year-old to school in Nigeria. We send 1-year-old to school in Nigeria. 1-year-old that can't even talk very well. They start doing mathematics. They start doing additions, right? We do that, but that's not what I'm talking about. What is lacking is the emotional intelligence that is making them to watch, to listen to music, and just act based on what they've heard, and not able to differentiate between, hmm, this is not real. I shouldn't live my life like this. No, no, no.
So thank you, Vicky. As a social scientist, I pay attention to different kind of things in the society. I listen to Naira Marley. The first time I came across his song, it was different. It was funny, so I pay a bit of attention to him. I've listened to his interviews. He's a smart young man. He's a smart business person, based on what I've seen. But is a very is an academic and a reasonable debate to have, in terms of, is he a positive role model to the young ones, or is it a bad influence? I don't
Exactly.
really have a definite answer on that, but the side of that same person is that this person, was raised in Pencam, and he had his tertiary education there in UK and everything, and probably he got a master or something. So he knows that he's just making money from, as Egbon said, it's a reflection. An artist is a reflection of times and the society. So because of time, I'll quickly go around the group now, and just our final word as we try to round up on this topic. It could be in form of everything we've said, any novel ideas on what we think can be done better, or what we can do can improve everything we've spoken about today, because we try to make, because there are talk shows, there are programs everywhere where people talk about Nigeria, and at the end of the day, it's the same old story. No solution focus. We try to be solution focused. I will go around the group. I'll start with Elvis. Then while Elvis is going, like Moyemi should be gathering his thoughts. I will end up with Vicky, and then Vicky will round up, for today. Elvis, your final word in terms of everything we've said so far. You're on mute, please.
You have to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say in terms of everything we've said so far, I've just got a few recommendations that, if brought to fore, will help, change the mindset of some of our young ones who are influenced by some of these bad musical content and videos, because not all of them are bad. You still have the good ones. So we need to be sanitizing our children on the good and bad effect of movies and musical content. We need as parents to individually take control of what our children watch on television and the contents they look at. And a good way of doing that is sitting down with the kids when we've got the time to watch, these contents with them, encouraging the children to criticize and analyze what they have learned. And then adequate teaching of Christian moral education for those who are Christians. If you're Muslim, you can also do that with your children. The government, both at the state and the federal level, need to have rules in place where the contents that are being aired to people need to be checked before they actually go on air. So because movies and music are quite educational, and people can pick either the good or the bad. Yeah. So that's a good start. That'll be a good start, a good way to go.
Thanks so much, Elvis, for that. Strong recommendations. Egmoyemi.
Yes. Thank you, Wale. I want to say big thank you to Vicky for the last words that you said. Those words that you said, because we're on the same page. I don't know where the National Orientation Agency got their 64% from, because if I'm not part of that 64%, something must be very wrong. And why? I am so conscious and constantly looking out for what they do. And in here, I have this thing of how do we get it better? How do we make it better? And if they have not reached me in any form, that 64% is
they said they've reached you through enlightenment and sensitization campaign. That's what they've done.
Please, for God's sake, if that must have been done, just as Vicky said, by a web designer. I don't know where they got it from. That is one. Two, Vicky brought out something that I said I was going to bring up at this point.
Yeah.
Please, panel. Movies, yes, we have the good and the bad. Music, we have the good and the bad. But I'll tell you what scares me more. What I think is more damaging to the formation of our young ones is the cartoons.
Oh.
Our children's cartoons are not, it's sapping the African out of them. The Nigerian psyche is taken out of them completely. At that age, what we are pumping into those children are mainly foreign things that they probably, if they do not get out of this space, they can never touch, they can never feel. These are cartoons that are deprived of our songs, our folk tales, our stories. They are cartoons about snows, about even violence. They are violent cartoons that we are pumping to these children at that young age. And this is what they grew up with. When they grew up, there is a dysfunction within them and the system that operates here. And if the National Orientation Agency is not looking towards that, something must be wrong. If National Orientation Agency is not looking towards our movies, What messages are we passing across about this country, Nigeria? How are we getting it better? Something must be very wrong. Reorientation is a deliberate thing. It is not a wish. It is deliberate. You put your money where your mouth is. Reorientation calls for getting to the root of what are people listening to. How do you? It's a hook, line, and I think hook and bait theory. What are you dishing out? How can you catch these people at the point of their comfort, at the point where they are consuming most? What messages are you passing across to them? Listen, the average music artist needs money. He wants money. He wants to live well. If the National Orientation Agency is serious, you don't leave them to just their desire. You back them up. You come into that sphere and inject messages into their music. But of course, you bridge the gap, because some of these things may not particularly be commercial, and we need to get these messages out rightly by the right set of people. I was talking to a young lady that I mentor this morning. It's a regular class, and regular things like with some others too. And ironically, the issue of National Orientation Agency came up. This is one young lady that has dedicated her strength, her skill, her life towards getting corrective messages to our young ones. She does it on podcast. She's thinking of making it bigger. She's thinking of making it larger. These are the kind of people you must grab and get them to do the right things. And of course, because they are using their time, their skill, their resources, you back them up. That is how to go about this. But please, I am scared about what our cartoon is. Those cartoons, not our cartoons. Those cartoons is doing to the psyche of our babies, of our young ones. It is something waiting to explode. But I hope we do something about it.
Thanks, Egmoyemi. Vicky, over to you.
I think the most important thing, just like Egmoyemi said, and I've said it before, educating these young people, not book education. I'm talking about emotional intelligence and other things, which is how we can get to where we need to be. If those kids do get it, then the future of Nigeria is secured. It's secured. The second thing that needs to be done, and me, this needs to be done. This needs to be done. I'm the only one in this household. We are 5 in this household. I'm the only one that watches Yoruba movie. And when do I watch Yoruba movie, Nigerian Yoruba movie? When do I do that? I do that when I don't want to, when I want to be, when I don't want to think. I just want to be like a vegetable. I'm tired. I'm overwhelmed. I just need a thing that, there are movies that you watch and then you feel emotional about it, or you feel, you know, inspired or motivated to go and get something done. I'm sorry, with over 82% of Nigerian Yoruba movies, it's just like, and there are times I'll be like, what have I wasted my 2 hours on? Because you see the way they structure it just doesn't make sense. So honestly, it annoys me because I don't know, maybe because I do understand a little bit about acting, but it annoys me that can't you just, why are you doing this? This is so simple. You've gone to this point. This is how you go about it. But they just mess it all up just because they want to make that quick money. So there should be, there should be a regulating body that will go through the scripts and will go through the way they do it before they release it. Somebody should be able to say, okay, we mark it. We mark this, that this is, a good one that needs to go out. But it's not good enough. You've got to update this before you can release it. You can't just you can't there should be something that needs to be done when it comes to what people are consuming. I'm not talking about physical food. I'm talking about information, whether
It's
it's
an ongoing, sorry, Vicky. Vicky, it's an ongoing debate. We will get there. It's an ongoing debate. We will get there. You're talking about an industry that is how many years now? 40, 50 years? If you compare it with some other industries that have done hundreds of years, please. But we'll get there. You have a very strong point. It's an ongoing debate. I'm concerned. Practitioners are concerned, and we'll get there. We'll get there. But meanwhile, please tell Nigerian Medical Association also to get their acts right with doctors. Thank you.
All right. So yeah, Wale, do you have anything to
I
say
just want
before we
you
round
to,
up?
look, I just want you to round up and, thank our viewers and, the panelists, and I'm sure we come back with something informative and educative next week for discussion. And yeah, so I will hand over to you to as the big host to round it up for today.
All right. Me to start with, Elvis. Honestly, I want to say thank you for joining us tonight. It's always great to have discussion with you. Um, Thank you for coming on and being one of the panelists today. And hopefully, we'll have you back again if you don't mind. We actually would love to have you as a regular panelist if you don't mind. We do this every Tuesday night, time 11 p.m. So we'll be back again next Tuesday. And Egbonyemi, as usual, thank you so much. We appreciate you. We enjoy listening to you because we can all get better if we can tap into each other. And you always give us more than enough to ponder on. So thank you. And Wale for moderating this. Thank you for all your research. I mean, since you've come on board, I've been like, okay, just taking it easy. I've been able to focus on other things that
It's
I do. So
well,
thank you so much. Thank you so much.
my pleasure. Yeah.
And to
Let me say,
all, yes.
let me say thank you. Let me say thank you so much. The world is awake here. You guys can go to sleep.
Thanks, Vicky. Thanks, Wale, Mr. Yemi. An honor to meet you virtually. I'm truly elated to be part of the program tonight. It's truly an honor to have me here. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, to you all our viewers out there, we appreciate you. We never take you for granted. Thank you for joining us. We do have some of them actually that made comments.
Okay.
Kendi Abiodun commented, Brother Murphy, Ekweto. I think Shayini Brother Murphy.
Wale.
No, I haven't changed my name. I'm still Wale.
Okay, maybe it's Elvis that is Brother Murphy. or you look like Brother Murphy.
Maybe Eddie Murphy, maybe, yeah. Elvis looks like that.
It's true. Elvis's wife, Buki Nwachukwu, commented, "Wow, this is very interesting. Bolanle Omoga had been with us from the time we started, so she made some comments there, like Oleku. I think she's referring to Egbonyemi there. 9-year-old in boarding school. That's another topic that I would like us to explore. This craziness that the Nigerians, we've talked about education. I think it was Wale and I that did that show that time.
Yes.
Well, I would like us to actually trash it a little bit more, especially due to the issue with Don Davis, the boarding house kid at Deeper Life and stuff. So it's crazy how Nigerians are doing it now, sending all their children to boarding house.
Vicky, don't start Wahala this afternoon. Go and sleep.
My doctor man is calling me, but he will wait a little bit more. But we've got to do it. Wale, please take notes. So
Okay,
we will
no
do that.
problem.
So thank you to all our viewers. We appreciate you. We'll see you again next Tuesday, 11 p.m. My time, 1 p.m. Western African time. So I think that's the end of today's show. It's always fun. It's always wonderful to spend time with you guys. And we'll come back next Tuesday and we will do it better. You enjoy the rest of the week. God bless you all.
Bye.
Bye, Vicky.